Hello, this is more of a test than anything else. I want to see how well my laptop would record. So I'm just going to card a bat on my drum carder. I'm just using some miscellaneous fiber that I have had in my tubs. So, alright, that light is in there. Let's see, I think you can kind of see a little bit better, hopefully. We'll see. Okay. Try to put you up a little bit higher. Now, I'm using a Strach double wide finest. I tend to like to blend my bats. I just kind of, I have a couple different ways I do it. I either paint it on the drum, which is a good way to do it if you don't want things to get too compacted, or if you're impatient like me, because it does kind of go faster if you do that. I'm on the lowest setting. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. What I've heard, though, is it doesn't necessarily matter so much with speed control. There's like an ideal speed to do it, unless you're doing a bunch of different fibers. Like if you're doing a really fine fiber, you're going to want to go slower, especially if it's a raw fleece, to avoid neps and overcarding. That's something, and it really depends on what your finished product is, what you're wanting to do with it. Now, if you're wanting a completely smooth prep, you're going to have to spend more time with it. That is what it is. You'll have to spend more time with it. If you're okay with something a little more arty, or I guess, something that has less, like something that you don't want to spend like a really fine lace yarn or something for it. Again, think of what the finished, think of what you want the finished product to be. For me personally, I try to look at, if I want perfect yarn, I can buy it from the store. I'm also not the most patient person in the world, so I tend not to spin that thin. I'm not really a knitter. I crochet very rarely, and my skills aren't really for that. I'm kind of getting into weaving, and I enjoy that. And for me, with the kind of stuff that I want to weave, I think a thicker yarn with a little bit more character is what's ideal for me. Now, some people absolutely love doing lace. Like you have the wedding ring shawls where the shawl is thin enough that you're supposed to be able to fit it through a wedding ring. And I think those are absolutely awesome. I love the look of lace shawls. Would I wear one myself? Probably not. I just don't necessarily wear things like that. Okay, so here I'm painting on the drum. I'm taking a little bit of fiber at a time, and I'm just slowly letting it build on the drum. There's different ways to do it as well. Of course, there I let it go too fast. Then what I also do is I have this burnishing brush. I also have this brush on the drum carder. It's the packing brush. A lot of drum carders come with it. For other drum carders, it's optional. I think it's like an extra $50. At least on their cheaper models. On the bigger carding, on the bigger drum carders, they don't have that option. You have it, like the bigger electric motorized carders. And also some of their other models, like the Brothers Supercard, which was originally pack green, does not have a brush. But the reason for that is because it has 3 drums. so it really doesn't need it doesn't need the other thing the other brush to push it down, or the burnishing brush. Now the Super Card, which is cool. I've actually owned one, and I did not keep it for very long because I like to make bigger beds. And that is a carder that, at least to me, it's more for blending. It's for making really cool roving. It's for blending. It's not for making huge bats to spin thick yarn with, which is the kind of thing I like to do. I am kind of going through. I have a gigantic stash, and that's another reason why I'm trying to spin thicker, because I'm using up more fiber. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to use what I have. But I mean, again, the main purpose of this video, honestly, I'm not sure that anyone's going to watch it, and that's totally fine. I am wanting to see how well my computer will do with the video, what the sound's like. But also because this gives me an excuse to play with my drum carder. I haven't really taken the time to do anything recently because I'm very busy, which sucks because I like playing with fiber stuff, but I don't. At this point, it's had to take a backseat because I'm going to school online. It's a summer class, so it's like basically a 6 credit, whatever. Like it's a 3 credit course in half the time, so they're doing double lessons. I'm also working at Walmart 24 hours a week. I'm working at the Tacony Art Center, which if you're in Philadelphia is awesome, and you should check it out. And then I'm also doing temporary work for Census. So with all of that, it's very hard to have time for fiber stuff. So I'm going to grab some more fiber. This fat is just it's using up odds and ends. I prefer bright colors. I'm not a huge fan of natural colors. I think they're pretty, but it's just what I make. I like to have a bit of a pop color in it. If it's applied with a natural, great, but I'm not. To me, natural's kind of boring. I like sparkle. I like earth tones, so I like a lot of greens, and I do like some browns and grays, but they have to be mixed with something. It can't just be a solid color for me. So I'm going to get some more fiber. So I have some Lincoln locks that I dyed a while ago. I'm just gonna paint the drum with them. Just because I'm not really concerned about keeping the texture of the locks. I just kind of want some pops of color in there. I dyed these a few months ago. I do some dyeing. I have a whole shelf of dyes. It's finding time to do it. It's because I also have 2 small children that take up a lot of time, and a husband. So between the 3 of them, they keep me busy, and the jobs and the school and just all of that. So I am going to be getting a different drum carder. I'm getting a Duncan drum carder, which isn't necessarily very well known, but from my understanding, it's similar to the Clems and Clems. It has a couple of differences. It doesn't have a key. It doesn't have a hand crank you can put on, which is one of the things I really like about the Clems and Clems. But it's also not as expensive as the Clems and Clems. Because at least at this point where I am in life, I can't afford to spend $4,000 or $3,900 on a drum carder. I can't. Especially since I do this more as a hobby, more than anything else. I've looked into trying to sell stuff, and I find I do better with selling equipment rather than stuff I make. Because I'm slow in terms of making stuff. And you know, and in my, I guess maybe critical opinion, I don't think what I make is like high enough quality. I mean, I like the baths that I make. I think those are pretty good quality, but in terms of spinning, knitting, crocheting something for someone, I really don't think what I make is good enough to sell, unless people want something very rustic. And even then, I do most of my spinning for myself because I'm limited in how much spinning I can do. Otherwise, I start having issues with my wrists and my fingers. And so I need to be careful of how much time I spend on it. So that's why I'm at this point tending to spend thicker yarn because it takes less time. Feels a little bit more satisfying because the bobbin fills up quicker. But when I say thick yarn, I'm not necessarily talking oversized. I'm probably talking like a nice worsted weight, like a 2-ply. And right now, in terms of spinning wheels, I have a Columbine from the 1970s, which I absolutely love. I have a spinning cube, which I haven't done a lot with. I've done some, but again, it's a matter of time. And then I have a Woolly Ann, which is an electric spinner by the Woolly Winder Company. At this point, though, I'm waiting for it to come back from the Woolly Winder Company, and I'm wishing it would come back sooner. So. But yeah, so I think I'm probably going to end this. Well, no, I'm going to finish the bat. I'm going to show you the bat, and then I'm going to end the video. So, and this isn't a very big bat, so I'm not wanting to take a whole bunch of time here. And I'm sure there's better ways to do this. This is just how I do it. All right, so this is something that I do not. I moved the wrong knob. All right, so this is something I do not like about this drum carder. First of all, it is designed. Oh, this is my Doffer. This particular carder does come with a knuckle saving pick, which is nice, and that is somewhere. But at this point, I prefer to use a Doffer, at least for right now. I've gone back and forth. But something I do not like about this carder is the fact that when you're trying to take the bat off, it's designed for you to have the motor on, and you're turning the bat very slowly, or you're having the motor on and you're turning the drum very slowly so you can pull it off that way. I don't like that. I prefer to spin it with my hands. I prefer to have some way of the drum being free moving. That's definitely my preference. I have found with this that I am able to push it, and it does work, but it takes some effort, and I really don't like having to put pressure on it. It's kind of frustrating for me. At the same time, the Licker In drum is nice. The more powerful motor is nice. It has a motor that will have some pretty heavy use and it'll be fine. But I'm hoping that the Duncan carder will work just as well. I'm kind of partial to it also because it's made in Oregon, and that's where I'm from. So made in Oregon products tend to kind of have I'm more biased. I like stuff that reminds me of Oregon. At this point, I'm not really interested in living in Oregon again, simply because I do like Pennsylvania, but I also like things that remind me of where I grew up. So, the Duncan Carter. It's the price on it is $24.50, which is about $50 more than this thing would be brand new. I think that it holds about the same amount of fiber. The main difference between the two of these, as far as I am aware, is that the teeth are sharpened on the Duncan. The cloth is made differently. It's 80 TPI, teeth per inch. So I'm hoping that'll be fine enough for me. I prefer a fairly fine cloth because alright, so here's the bat. As you can see, it's not really that big, but I was able to spread the fiber out kind of the way I wanted it. So here's the bat folded up. I would put that there, but I prefer fine teeth because I feel like it kind of blends it together a little bit more, and I don't really like to normally run it through more than 1 or 2 times because my goal is more to open up the fiber and to blend it a little bit, but not necessarily blend it a lot because I like to go through, I like to make a bunch of bats and spin them. I don't like to spend an hour on one bat. I like to try to get stuff through where I can. So, but okay, well, thank you. Again, I doubt anyone's really been watching, and it's totally fine. I've just been talking and making a bat. I've enjoyed myself. So, anyway, okay, have a nice day.